Hi, and welcome back to the Highland Wellness Club. So, what I was hoping to do today was cover up some of the questions that are coming through. We're getting them coming through on text messages and things like that, and even calls, or even people coming through. There's been so much interest in the massage side of things. So, I thought what I'd do is I'd cover up some of these things and give you some stuff to work on to kind of hone in your technique and give you more confidence with your handling. So one of the hardest things when you start massaging your dog is wondering, am I doing it right? Am I going to cause damage? And what should I be doing? So one of the things I'm going to cover is I'm going to cover your positioning, because that changes. But today, one of the things I wanted to cover first was what you're actually going to do. So you can practice this on yourself, you can practice this on your partner if they're lucky enough, even a friend, and you can get the feel for what you're doing. So the technique, practicing it, and they'll give you feedback. They're usually really good at giving feedback. And it means then when you do go on to do massage on your dog, you have a bit more of a confidence in there. So let's start in the first bit, and we're going to work on your technique for just the first effleurage. So I'm going to just dip this down. I've had to put a pink jumper underneath because my skin was too white against the pale table. An Irish arm here, so you couldn't actually see it. So this is forearm muscles. Now, as I said in the video before, muscles run. So this would be the fleshy bit of the main bellies. So there's a couple of muscles through here, and this is only the forearm. So if you picked your quad muscle or your thigh muscle or even your neck muscle, you'll get loads more feedback on it. So it runs, so this is the fleshy bit in here is really the muscle belly, and it goes into a tendon which attaches onto a bone, and another tendon of course which attaches onto the different various bony bits in the wrist. So having a look at this other hand, let's take this off, having a look at this other hand. So what we're looking to do is keep it nice and relaxed. The more relaxed you are with this, the more you'll feel. Now, with humans, we can probably go quite deep. That's one of the questions that comes up, is how deep can you go? But with dogs, see how much extra I had there. Now, my arms are a little bit tight today because I've been treating patients all week. But you can go quite deep with humans, but ideally with dogs, you're probably looking here. So if you think of that, that's a gauge on that. So if you're really digging in, and there's not a huge amount to dig in with these arms here, you're really digging in. I'm heading not far off the bone there, probably a little bit up from it, and there's quite a bit to go. You'll see from here, I'm using these parts of my fingers. That's where you want to use. You start using the tips, you start digging down, it gets kind of pokey and quite uncomfortable. But that fleshy pad is fab because you get far more feedback from there. So the brain will start to learn actually what it's feeling. So give it time. So a really nice one to start with, as you saw me doing there, is the T-touch side of things, which is a circle and a quarter. Okay? So you can see I'm actually just working my way up the muscle belly. No point in going up here, that's bone, right? But working your way up and down. Start off nice and easy. I've still got loads to go. Start off nice and easy. And you can see my pressure's constant. Wrist angle, nice and straight. And shoulder should be nice and relaxed. So practice that. That's a really nice one to start. What that'll help with is that'll help map the area. So already I can tell I've got a few nice trigger points in here, pretty tight along here. It's not really moving for me. So the pliability of the tissues is pretty less down here and more up here. Now I'm giving it a good wraggle because it's me. So that's a really nice one to start with. Keep an eye on that. So start with that one first off, and then the only other one I'm going to give you to start with as well is the effleurage. So the effleurage is like a stroke. So see my angle there, wrist, if you can see with the whiteness, wrist, knuckles, fingers, angle, brush down. It's hard to do this on the forearm because there's not much there, but you can do this out with. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm pushing very gently, pushing these tissues, and I can feel resistance there, pushing these tissues along. And this is hard. It's easier. This will be easier on a person because they'll give you feedback. But you'll start to feel resistance in the tissues where there's a problem or tightness. You might even feel what we've said in the videos, the fasciculation. There's trigger points which I can't quite elicit on this for you today, but there's trigger points through there. If you're feeling that, come back up. You're going too deep, or your dog's pretty tight, or your human is pretty tight. So ease into it. It should ripple. Now this is starting to get better already. It should ripple in front of you as you go. And I'm brushing towards the heart. Can you see that? So I'm kind of going up one, down the other, slide along and down the other, keeping those hands nice and relaxed. And if you need to, check that. So that's your first exercise, practical exercise. The partners of the Highlands are going to be delighted because it's a lovely one. You can work on neck muscles as well. In here, fleshy bit in there, lovely. You can do forearms, you can do thighs pretty handy, or you can do even the back, depending on how much they get you doing it. The more you do it, the more you'll feel. Relax in the beginning, clear your mind from everything. It's so important to do that because we get really honed in on what it is we're doing, and the more we do that, the tenser we get. And even a physio coming from the human field, when I transferred over and started doing things with animals, we do get that way. So let's see how you get on.